All right, everyone, welcome back into another fantasy golf video. Going to be breaking down round one here of the Waste Management Phoenix Open, giving you guys my favorite prize picks and underdog prop bets to start the video. Then we're going to be getting into some round bets. You got some 3-ball bets, some first round leader bets, and some matchup bets to touch on. With that, guys, let's go ahead and get into it. And so, guys, let's go ahead and start this video off with looking at some prop line differences for prize picks and underdog prop bets. And real quickly, I'm going to zoom out here on the sheet. So what we're going to notice is we're really not seeing any prop line differences. The only ones that we are seeing are going to be in the birdie or better percentage prop bets, which aren't really true prop line differences between prize picks or underdog. We're basically taking what their projection is, using the prize picks and underdogs lines to see if we're getting a prop line difference. And we kind of are, like, sure, if we want to bet on Scottie Scheffler, because he's projected at 5.5 birdies or better, especially compared to Tom Kim, we can do that. I do think that that's a good bet. Scottie Scheffler does rank out pretty well. Obviously, this week as the top golfer. Tom Kim, you never know with him. He's very much hit or miss. For the most part, I think, yes, we would be betting on Scottie Scheffler to, continue to get the ball rolling, if you will, because last week was his first event of the year. You expect him to play a little bit better. So I'm fine with that. But let's go ahead and sort by which bets are going to be giving us the best edge on paper. So it is a very interesting day. So already, again, with Tom Kim there, guys, is he going to get 4.5 birdies or better? Probably not. Okay, that's a lot to get. Now, he can get hot, okay? But this is nice that this is popping up as a good prop bet on Prize Picks, because we know that if we were to pair the Ches Reavie and Brent Snedeker prop bets together there, the payout would be pretty darn reduced because we're doing two bets that correlate a decent amount. And so with that, we can't do that. And so I think we can roll with Tom Kim under 4.5 birdies or better, and then also Ches Reavie under 3.5 birdies or better. Now, I do want to go ahead and take a quick peek at the weather for you guys. And so when we look at the weather, guys, and I just like to use the PGA Tour, what I always tell people is stick to one source with this, and if you want a secondary source, go with that, but have a main source just to get the general feel. We're going to notice that, guys, the weather looks to be pretty darn good. So it's not like we're going to get an advantage prop betting wise or DFS wise by targeting an earlier tee time. So we're good to go there. And so, yeah, we kind of look at his game like here at the stadium course. Don't really care about that. Really, what I care about is just how well they've been playing. But it does, coming into the event, it does kind of point out that he has been very much hit or miss, right? To have 2 rounds of 6 birdies or better, and then the rest of them really not close. There is inconsistencies there, and that's really just this course, right? It's just a course in which if you're not on your game, you're not going to be able to take advantage of the scoring opportunities. If you're on the game, you will be able to. So I'm fine with this under. And then, yes, I do want to call out, though, the prop line difference that we're getting between Scottie Scheffler and Tom Kim is also pretty huge for the birdies or better. So you're telling me it's off by 1, right? And we're getting that 0.5 difference. So what it's telling me is that the prize picks line for Scottie Scheffler birdies or better should either be at 5 or the Tom Kim line should be at 5. Like, one of those two have to compensate for each other. So either way, that's a good bet. And so I think it's worth calling that out as well, that if you are maybe trying to do more than 2 bets for prize picks. So for example, if you want to bet on Sam Burns under birdies or better, and then you are doing, let's say, Ches Reavie over birdies or better, those two do not correlate. That'll actually be a slightly higher payout there. But if you were to include, let's say, Tom Kim in there, because you're betting 2 under birdies or better, the payout would then be slightly reduced there. And so a way to go about avoiding that is, if you want to run on another slip, is that you could do the Scottie Scheffler one instead of the Tom Kim one. So you could do Sam Burns, Tom Kim, Ches Reavie. That way you're getting 3 different bets that you can go ahead and make there. And that's a solid way to go about doing it. Okay, now typically we don't want to run out 3 slip bets on prize picks, but I did want to call that because that's a pretty good advantage there. It really is solid. Now, guys, real quickly on the Sam Burns one, I do think it's going to be a tight sweat. I do really like Sam Burns for the week as well. This is kind of in a weird way, a hedge in the sense that I like him. I think he's actually a good first-round leader bet. That's what I'm going to be encouraging here in just a second. He's a player that I already have outright bets on. I think that's the way to go. Kind of a weird hedge. Like, hopefully he just gets to 4 birdies, but doesn't shoot himself out of it, or makes a couple of eagles. That'd be even better. It is going to be a tight sweat. Like, chances are he's going to get to at least 4 birdies or better. So if you didn't want to include this, you don't have to. And honestly, I don't know. I don't want to, but I'm probably not. Like, we've been on a pretty good hot streak here where every single day we've had a bet slip hit. We've been profitable every single day thus far. I don't want to jinx that. We are going to, full disclosure, guys, we are going to have a bad day props betting wise, PGA wise. Like, the fact that we haven't had a bad day thus far, a day in which we haven't profited, is insane. That's extremely lucky. Now, yes, we've been picking our spots, but they've been hitting at an insane rate. Like, I forget exactly what it is. I think it's like 14 out of the 17 bets have hit, while like 3 of them have been ties. Like, that is not going to consistently happen, guys. That's an extremely like good rate. Okay, that's going to come down. It's going to be closer to about 57 to 61% on the season. Okay, so don't be surprised if that occurs. Honestly, this week, that's just what typically does happen. And so in simple, guys, this is going to be the prize picks bet of the day here. We're going to be doing a 2-slip bet. Again, if you guys have never signed up for prize picks before and you want to, use the number 9 and then TO5 when you sign up. Link is going to be in the description of this video, guys. That's just an easy way to support the channel that does kick back money my way as well, which is how I'm able to keep producing content. You guys have probably noticed I've been putting out more content. Well, that's because of you guys and your guys' help. That's just an easy way to do it. And if you're already going to do it, just might as well help out the channel as well. They'll give you guys an instant $50 when you spend your first $5 on prize picks as well. We'll go ahead now and jump on into Underdog. And if you guys want to use the Underdog promo, that's also an easy way to help out the channel. Spell out 925, guys, so slightly different, but gives you a 50% deposit match there. And now, guys, if we do look at the Underdog board, it's the exact same as prize picks, really, so no big edges there. Really no reason to get into it too much. If you wanted a 2-slip bet, Snedeker and Ches Reavie over birdies are better. I don't exactly love them. Like, it's they need to be taking advantage of the par 5s pretty much, and maybe converting on one of the short par 4s. Like, that's what we need from them, and that can happen. But they've been playing terrible golf, so I don't exactly like that. But at the same time, you do expect them to get 4 birdies. And so, guys, now we're going to go ahead and jump on into more of the traditional sportsbook bets. Going to be jumping into the head-to-head bets to start. And so we're going to go to bet type, and we're actually going to click on round 1 bet types. And again, I like to do the content mostly for the biggest population of people that are probably watching this, which are going to be Americans that are betting on FanDuel, DraftKings, and then also BetMGM. Like, those are the top 3 there. And so looking at, guys, let's just sort by plus EV bets that we are getting, which is going to be the sportsbook edge here. And now we're getting any bets that also correlate with the data, and we're really not, okay, which isn't a big deal. Typically, like, we don't need to double dip like that, but like the closest one, we don't have any. Like, we literally have any where the 9-to-5 data also agrees with that. So don't need to force them, but if you want to bet on Billy Horschel to beat Akshay, you can do that. I'm fine with that, but nothing too crazy. So we'll jump on into the 9-to-5 edge, which, if you guys have been following the channel, this has been pretty good. The matchup bets have been hitting a little bit better than expected this whole year, but especially over the last 2 weeks. And actually, the 3-ball bets, the first 2 events really hit at a high rate, and then the last 2 weeks, pretty bad. So hopefully that balances itself out for the 3-ball bets. Would love to keep up that streak. But again, like the props betting stuff, guys, that's due to come down a little bit, right? These are kind of supposed to be 50-50 splits, and we've been, I have it in the description of the video. I think it's like 32 out of 42 thus far. So, like, extremely good. The tournament bets have also been extremely good. That's not going to continue. Like, that's just not sustainable. Would love it. I would love to tell you guys that, but that's not me. I'm not providing confidence just to, like, give myself a pat on the back. But looking at it, guys, JJ Spawn beating Davis Thompson is a decent bet. You can get him at -115. That's a solid bet on DraftKings there as well. We got Nick Taylor beating Kurt Kitayama. I don't hate that one there as well. I think that's pretty solid. And again, guys, these are adjusting for the round 1 ranks. That's the nice part about it. So it's not like just looking at the full tournament. It's looking at who is projected to play well in round 1, and that's how we're creating this data set. And so that's pretty good. Corey Connors beating Betty Ann. These are all on DraftKings, so pretty good stuff there. If you want to do that on FanDuel, you can as well. -115 there as well. The thing that I hate already is that all these are -115 pretty much. That's basically it. But we are getting some good ones. Don't want to go too deep. We're just going to go with the top 3 there, guys, for head-to-head bets in round 1. Let's go ahead now and jump on into the 3-ball bets. So to me, part of the reason as to why the 3-ball bets haven't been doing as well as they did really the first 2 weeks is partially due to the fact that some of them had been 2-ball bets. And it's just been a little bit weird. Look at last week, we had some weather that played a big difference, and just too many ties, which are always going to happen, but too many ties lately where you need the full cash to really pay off. And looking at the best bets that we have here, guys, I don't mind them. So we got Hogard winning his matchup. That's going to pay out 1.15x. Not terrible there. Charlie Hoffman, I actually do like a decent amount this week. I think that's a solid bet. I mean, we're getting several good ones. So typically speaking, guys, I want to bet on the ones that are 40% or better to hit, but also avoiding these ones that are only paying out, like this one, 0.72x. So if you bet 1 unit, you're going to get a payout of 1.72. So you're going to profit 0.72 here. That's what we're calling out here. So don't exactly need to get there. And also, I do want to call it not betting on Max Gracerman, withdrew last week. A little bit concerned about where he's at as well. So don't need to get there as well. It is funny. We're going to be betting on Benny Ann 3-ball. even though we're betting on Corey Connors to beat him. Interesting there. But let's just go with these top 5. I'm pretty comfortable with these ones. And then getting JT at 2-1 feels pretty good as well. Are there any other ones that I like here that are popping up that I feel the need to get out of my way to target? No. So it'll be those 6 that I've highlighted here. I'll scroll down so you guys can see the JT one a little bit there as well. Those are going to be the 3-ball bets there for round 1. And with that, guys, let's go ahead and jump on into the first round leader bets here for round 1, and then we'll begin to the showdown picks here for round 1 as well. All right, guys. So for the first round leader picks, we're in the betting page. We're going to click on first round lead, FRL. That's what that stands for. What I want to do is I'm going to click on this. We're going to click on this bonus tab here, and we're going to scroll down to the rank, which is at the bottom here. So that's going to be filtered in for round 1 rank. We can sort by that. Okay, so we're going to sort by that. And what I want to do is I want to target the golfers that only have the early tee time. Now, by doing this, you're avoiding Scotty Scheffler. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. Typically speaking, throughout like the summer portion and whatnot, the courses tend to play slightly easier earlier on. Maybe just a little bit softer greens. The green's not worn out as much, more true, I guess, if you will. You know, no spike mark, no blemishes on the greens. Maybe that adds up. I don't know. This is just something I've noticed is successful, so I'm going to do it. And so really, probably just betting. Typically, I want to bet on the top 5% of the field, whether that be first round lead or outright bets. And so this is simple, guys. JT, Hideki, Sam Burns. I don't know if I exactly love Hogard, but we have Substraka there as well. So we got 4 there. We could also toss in Nick Taylor there. That's probably what I'm looking at there. Obviously, would love Nick Taylor to win. Keep that hot streak up that he's kind of been on recently. Obviously, has played this course well as well. Maybe the vibes are flowing for him there. No real long shots that we need to get to. I mean, I don't hate Charlie Hoffman, but he's not exactly overly popping here for round 1, 75-1 there. So no need to get there, but I'm kind of okay with that. Now, another bet that I mentioned throughout the week that you could do if you didn't want to just place one outright bet on the week, and that being Scotty, you could do Scotty Scheffler first round lead and win. Or you could just bet a first round lead at 12-1. That's not a terrible route to go there as well. It's kind of a unique way to get some action on Sky. Now, chances are that's going to end up being a push, and that would really hurt. But that could also be like the one bet that you make for round 1 as well, if you don't want to bet against Scotty, pretty much. And that's up to you guys. I like to be more of a caddy, if you will, where I'm giving you guys suggestions, telling you guys, what are the best options to do. It's really up to you guys in your strategy, what you guys think is going to be best for you guys based off of your betting strategy. All right, guys. So then we are going to go ahead and get into those round 1 picks, not changing any data except for giving it 2 data points to go off of here. We're just going to click generate so you guys can kind of see what it's looking at for round 1 showdown. Now I'm going to talk about a slight unique thing you guys can do to get some different ownerships here and some exposures. But for the most part, like Billy Horschel, I like getting into a decent amount. Corey Connors, I don't mind as well, but that's a little bit too high for me with Corey Connors. Same thing with Siwoo. I'm probably going to drop all these guys 20%, 20%, 20%. And so what I mean by that is right now I'm doing 3 unique players, 30% max exposure. That's typically what I do. If we want to get to a little bit more JT, we can do that because he does have that early tee time. I don't mind that. And we are getting 30% of him. None of Scotty, so we'd really have to bump up Scotty's projection just as an FY. But I'll show you guys what I did earlier. And this was using the 9-to-5 custom model. And just as a call, guys, like I know custom models are such a big thing in the fantasy golf industry, but you shouldn't be relying on it too much. The only time you should really be using a custom model, specifically probably with the 9-to-5 data, is when you're trying to make a slight change to favor a slight edge that you see there. It shouldn't dominate your day. It shouldn't be like the first day that you do. It should really just be the last thing that you do to gain a slight edge. So what I'm doing actually is I want to factor in the AM starters for round 1 specifically. Okay, so this is what I'm doing using the custom model. I'm still focused on the round 1 showdown ranks. Okay, so I still want to be targeting those guys, but I do want to be targeting those golfers that do have the AM start time as well. Maybe just slightly we could do that. I also tossed in the extreme AM advantage as well. You guys don't have to do that. Like we can take out extreme. I'll show you guys that, what it looks like there. And so it'd still be JT, Scotty are still going to be number 1 and 2. And then you got Hideki, Sam Burns, Substraka, Hogard's popping up in there a little bit more. Corey Connors, we're still getting action to there as well. So to me, this is just a unique way to get some action there. And again, this is kind of how I like to go about using the custom model. But because we are making these projections simply based off of ranks, you could click here, click on more, export this, and we can upload that into the 9-to-5 PGA lineup builder. And now that's something I had already done. And so to me, I'm getting better exposures. And so then what we'd be looking at is I went ahead and I got to a little bit more of JT. And then I set my max exposure for Scotty at 15, which is probably dumb. I could easily get to 40% of him. I could potentially just lock in him and Scotty, which is probably not a terrible route to go. but we are still getting proper ownership exposures. Like, I don't know if we need to get to Gary Woodland at 30%, but this gives you guys a good general sense of more of what we're looking at then for round 1 showdown purposes. And then lastly, guys, what we're talking about, like DFS, I do want to call out the ownership this week. It's not really a big factor this week. It's kind of crazy. I just want to call out like Scotty's ownership projected at around 40% exposure. And what we're being told is no moves are needed. So if you're on him at 40%, no moves are needed there, which is crazy, right? To get a golfer that is 40% owned and at 12K, like that's how good of a play he is. So his return value finishing position that he needs to finish at to pay off the 40% exposure at this price tag is top 5, but he's that likely to finish top 5. That is the correct ownership there. Now, because of that, naturally, the rest of the top golfers are slightly under-owned, but like, who cares? Like, I really see the ownership as being correct this week, guys. Like, previous weeks I called out like JT was like the easiest fade probably of the whole year, and that was week 1. And then I also called out Jason Day the week he finished. Did he finish second or third that week? I don't remember. I know he choked. I think he still finished second. Anyways, he was a clear leverage option for us. Like I mentioned, he was probably going to be the best leverage play that we get all year, which ended up being true. And then Taylor Pendrith last week was the top leverage play as well. I actually agree with all these ownerships that we are getting, so no real reason to go crazy with it. And really, guys, everything that I'm discussing, what I'm going to do this week long is right here in the 9to5 write-up. Again, if you guys want access to this one, head on over to 9to5sports.com, get access to that. But sign up at this email below at the bottom of the website on the homepage. That'll give you guys access to that write-up each and every week. For now, I might make that for members only, maybe middle of the season, because it's a good source of profitability for people throughout the long term. So, take advantage of that if you guys haven't done so. But that's going to be all, guys. If you do want access to the fantasy golf tools, make sure to head on over to 9to5sports.com. Get access to all the fantasy golf tools that you would want for $10 a month. It gives you all the tools in the industry for a fraction of the price. It's a one-stop shop for PGA betting. All data is already curated for you as well. So I kind of mentioned with the custom models, like they're asking you to do the work. No, I already do it for you guys for a fraction of the price. So take advantage of that, guys. Thanks for watching. Good luck. And as always, let's keep cashing.